Hey everybody. So last night I was getting a lot of visual messages and they were showing me stuff and it has to do with what's going on currently, but they took me back in time. So I'm going to close my eyes and I'm just going to do this to the best of my ability to remember. So just bear with the story, okay? So they were showing me a beautiful large body of water and prosperous, beautiful land around it. And then on one side of the body of water, someone began to start damming up the water so it didn't flow as nicely to the other side of the land. Eventually, they wound up blocking almost all the water over time, but the one side of the land just kept getting used to a little bit less water, less water, less water, until it had no water. And then it would have to go upriver to where this dam is and ask for water. And then it began to be bringing the water back and then paying for the water. So whoever had control of the water on that side of the river was dishing it out to the other side. Of course, all this is metaphors for many things. So eventually, they put a whole wall up through the body of water and through the land, dividing both sides of the land. And so the land without water still had to keep coming back up to get its water and pay for it. But eventually, with the big wall being built, there were faucets put in so you could walk up, pay for it, turn on a faucet, and fill up your pail of water. And so some people were fortunate enough to have one pail or two pails or three pails or four pails, however many pails they had. And the more pails you had showed you had more money to pay for the water. Okay? So eventually this just became the way of life, that one side of the land had to go to the other side of the land to get everything, and no one ever saw anyone on the other side of the wall and who was pulling all the strings, okay? Until the beings of light and the prime source creator began to create crumbles in the wall. And the walls began to kind of come down. And the people on the land where they had to come back and pay for the water could now see what was being orchestrated on the other side of that wall. So as many times as they tried to rebuild the wall so people couldn't see, the walls kept cracking and crumbling down in all different areas of that wall, which spread out for what looked like eternity. Eventually now, what has happened is almost all the wall has crumbled all the way down, even into some parts where the footings of the walls are now completely destroyed. So there is no rebuilding the wall. And now the people on the other side can see what has been going on the other side. And so now those people have come up and they're undamming the water so now that the water can freely flow to their part of the land as it was originally intended. So the greedy little gremlins that have been behind the wall controlling all the things have slowly been taken off planet, slowly died, and there's some small cells, but there's not enough of them to rebuild anything to hide from the other side. So now many things are coming out in the open. The waters are beginning to flow, and more people are seeing through the wall, which would be a veil, right, to the side that has had a lot of dark control. So a lot of that is now exposed. But then there's some people that still want to go back and pay for their water. They don't want to change. They don't remember in their DNA that this was all plush land and that the wall divided it which left one side in scarcity. The other side, they really couldn't even see a lot of how they were living, but they knew that they had access to water and all of the amazing riches that the earth had provided. But now most people are beginning to see something ain't right. And so now they're going up and undamming the water, taking the wall bricks away and using those for something else, or completely dissolving them. And they're going out and they're crying to other people, look, see, we have more freedom now. We have to take charge. We have to break down the rest of the wall. We have to let the water flow. So water is, a metaphor for the energies. Water is a metaphor for daily subsistence. Water is a metaphor for the freedom that has been blocked from us. So they were showing me all of it. Now they fast forward to today's time, right, where all this is occurring. And so there has been borders and blockages happening, right, everywhere. And then the last 3 years, it has shown to really lock people down. Difficult to, fearful to get on a plane, a train, get in an automobile, cross a border. There's all this, insanity to jump through hoops to be somewhere else and have more freedom, right? So this is actually what is occurring because many countries are now banding together and they're literally waiting for the May 11th where everything gets cracked wide open on May 11th. Because the laws that have been created by all these elites regarding border patrol because of the you-know-what virus is eliminated. It's no longer holding everybody else at bay. And what's going to happen now is the borders will be flooded. They're going to be flooded. And we are not prepared to handle all of that. Just like if I go back to the story when they were showing me that everything was dammed up and then things were beginning to crumble down, you notice the river was not undammed yet because it couldn't be. If it was completely undammed, it would have flooded all of the cities, towns, and villages that had been built over the original river passing. So it would have destroyed cities and towns and killed and created harm to all life. So undamming the water has to be orchestrated strategically so that the water, the freedom, the energy, the nutrients can flow out better around what has currently been built in its place. But a lot of these restoration things have not occurred yet. And so what's going to happen is we're going to get bombarded by many different borders. And there's going to be many, many here in the States and in other places. They're going to come in and they're going to be needed to be taken care of. And so the first thing they're going to do is apply for food stamps, government insurances, government safe havens, and it's going to create a lot of chaos. And so we also have our eclipse that's occurring today. We also have Mercury going into retrograde. So we have a lot of things happening with communication. And I did a video yesterday on what is happening electromagnetically within our bodies, and they're not seeing out here. But a lot of this is going to force people to take off those blinders, and then they're going to want to put them back on, but they're not going to be able to, because there'll be no more ways to be an ostrich. Everyone's going to be seen, and many people are not going to speak your language energetically and orally, because the countries are going to get flooded. And because they're trying to escape to survive. They're trying to escape to survive, and they have been living in border dwellings with minimal daily nutrients, water, clothing, shelter, the basic survivals. They're living under rocks and under blankets for months now and longer, waiting so they could cross the border. And so this is where I see havoc occurring, because we haven't properly created the drains for this freedom, this water to flow. That's how they were showing it to me. It's like the walls can come down and everybody can see what is happening, but the water cannot be undammed until it is properly circumvented through the proper drains, creating more lakes, creating more rivers, creating more ponds, creating more bodies of water, so that it goes out and keeps people in safety. So tap into this story and tap in to see what your guides can elaborate for you. And do not allow fear to set in, because it can get a little chaotic. And we are feeling right now the energies of a lot of these people who have been totally suppressed and kept away from basic survival things. And they have taken their families, themselves. Many people have not survived. They've not survived. They don't have basics like sanitary napkins and really clean drinking water and places to wash their clothes every couple days. Not everybody is having this at these borders, okay? They're eating slop, or they don't have refrigeration because they're in borders where there's not a lot of electricity. Basic needs that many of us take for granted, okay? But if we truly look back at every single freaking person here in the United States, that is how our forefathers got here, to create for us. And we cannot forget that pathway. Okay, and yes, we work hard to do what we need to do. I get it. But nothing's to say that a lot of these people are good people. And they too want to work hard. There are going to be some nasty cartels and some gangs and a lot of crap coming in. I'm telling you, I see it. But we have to stop, drop, sit, connect with that breath, align that column of light, and be fully present so that we are emanating love. And the love that we emanate is like steam off of boiling water that's going to go up and create and clear the densities and the energies. But we don't have enough of that going on right now. So what we are feeling is the steam, metaphor for the energies being put out by all of these people surrounding our borders and in other countries waiting to get on a boat that should never take off because it's not safe to go across the bodies of water, the waves. It's not safe. And people are not looking at, oh, we only have so much weight we can have in here, then we have to have this and that. They're coming with nothing but the clothes on their back and a few essentials, if they're lucky. Okay? So I have no judgment of this. It is simply what they have shown me. My light keeps going out. In a dream, in a download, not in a dream, in a download last night. And so we have to be prepared to override this tumultuous and very staticky, trembling energies that are in the air, that are hitting everybody in the face like air. They're air. They're in the air. They're waves in the air that you can't see, but it is pure source energy and it is hitting you in the face, good, bad, or indifferent. Okay? So unless you're protecting your column of light and emanating love out to dissipate some of that density, replacing the density with your loving energy is what they're telling me. Replace the density, which includes the fear, the trepidation, the anticipation. Clear it by emanating the love. Emanate the steam out of your body as love, and let it resolve and dissolve through love, so that your neighbor, anyone to the left, the right, front, the back of you, isn't and you're like, because now you're emanating out. So it's like, oh, I don't know why, I know craziness is happening, but I'm going to stay in my calm, my calmity. I make up my words, y'all know. Stay in my calmness, my calmity, my column of light. And I'm gonna keep my nervous system, my respiratory system, my endocrine system, my cardio system, all the functions of my sensories, all my systems, my skin, everything. I'm not going to allow any of that to hit me in the face. I'm just going to continue to send waves and echoing out steam of love, the energetic steam of love. Okay? So just be prepared, but you don't have to be prepared by lock, drop, sit. Anyway, incoming. I'm going to protect myself. Don't do that, because you need fluidity. You need fluidity. Okay? Fluidity. You need it. Things have got to flow. All right? Don't dam it up. We're undamming slowly the waters of freedom. The waters of freedom. Okay? The light is here. There's no more trickery. The light is here to stay. So don't have that mentality where you're looking for the other shoe to drop, because you get your hopes up and something's exciting, another shoe drops. Don't feed into that mentality. All right? If I can help you on this journey, information at embodimentofthesoul.com. Information at embodimentofthesoul.com. Email me. Go to embodimentofthesoul.com website. Get a session with me. Learn how to get yourself prepared and in better alignment for what is coming. All right?